The Land of Roar, Chapter 28. After a long hot walk through the forest, my arms are untied and the hood is yanked off my head. I find myself staring at a red-haired girl who has a mean expression and is wearing shorts and a vest with a panda on it. An elaborate collection of loom band bracelets are arranged up both of her wrists, and she's chewing on a twig. No, a bone. She takes out the bone, reaches up and prods me with it in the middle of my forehead. "State your business, boy!" She looks 8, 9 at the most, but her steely eyes belong to someone much older. "Yes," I say, blinking into the sunshine, "our business." She's flanked by a pack of girls who look similarly grubby and tough. Each of them has bracelets on their wrists, but none have anywhere near as many as their leader. "Hey, boy!" Another girl steps forward and shoves me in the chest. She has to shove me in the chest. She can't reach any higher. "When Stella speaks, you reply." A quick glance at Rose tells me that she's decided to leave all the talking to me. So I blurt out, "Croaky's taken our granddad, and we need you to help us rescue him." "Oh, do you?" Stella says, eyebrows raised, and the other lost girls collapse in giggles. "Yes, we do," I say. Then I stand a little taller. "Do you know who we are?" "I know who you are, all right. You're Arthur and Rose Trout, Masters of Roar." She says these last words with a sarcastic curl of her lip. "Don't speak to them like that," protests Wynne. "They're here to help us." Stella glares at him. "Croaky has been terrorising us for ages, and they just left him to it. We haven't seen them for over 2 years. "It's actually been 3 years, 3 months and 21 days, says Wynne helpfully. Stella's eyes narrow and she turns back to me. "And you think you can come back here and demand our help? I'll admit that Croaky is a total pain in the bum." There are murmurs of agreement from the other girls. "But we're not scared of him, and he doesn't bother us anymore." She throws her arms out wide. "Not now we've got our awesome camp. We're safe here. We've got our hammocks and our fire. Why should we risk all this for your granddad?" "Yeah," snarl the other girls. A girl with braids and a bow slung over her shoulder shouts out, "Where were the Masters of Roar when Croaky stuffed Stella and trashed treetops? It took Stella weeks to recover, and we loved that camp." Now all the girls are jeering at us and calling us names like dum-dum heads and pea-brains, and stepping closer and closer. A collection of motley weapons appears in their hands, sticks and homemade bows and arrows. "If Croaky doesn't bother you," I say quickly, "then how come you're hiding out in this forest and trying to chuck people down ravines? It looks to me like he's bothering you a lot. It looks to me like you're scared of him." Stella goes white and then red. Then she grabs hold of my t-shirt and pulls me down towards her face. "Say that again, pooh-head." "Ha! Pooh-head!" cries Wynne, forgetting for a moment whose side he's on. Over Stella's shoulder I catch a glimpse of the lost girls' awesome camp. It's nothing more than some tatty hammocks stretched between trees, a smouldering fire and a lot of puddles. Then I have a moment of inspiration. "Help us get rid of Croaky, and the crow's nest is yours." "Interesting." Stella shoves me back into the mud and beckons the other girls over. They gather in a huddle, arms thrown around each other's shoulders. After a few minutes of intense whispering, Stella turns to face me. "We accept Arthur Trout, but on one condition." "What's that?" "I'm in charge." She jabs a thumb at her chest. "The lost girls take orders from me, and only me." "Fine, you can be our leader." "Chief." I nod. "Okay, Chief." Stella grins. "Actually, there is one other condition." "What is it?" I ask. "We want you to roll around on the ground and pretend to be a baby." All the lost girls start laughing. "What? You heard me," says Stella. Roll around on the ground and pretend to be a baby. Just do it, Arthur, says Rose. You just do it. No, says Stella. No, girls, we only want the boys to do it. Cool, says Win. Then he drops down to the ground and starts to scream and wave his arms and legs around. The lost girls clap with delight, then look at me and start chanting, do it, until I get down next to Win and join in. When they're all whooping and cheering and their weapons are being put away, Rose pulls us to our feet, not even bothering to hide the smile on her face. Now, you've got to hear Rose's plan, I say. I promise you, it's good. Stella rolls her eyes. Fine, tell us your stupid plan. After Rose has spoken, Stella has to admit that it's not totally dumb. We'll attack the crow's nest the day after tomorrow, she says. I shake my head. No, that's too late. Grandad's stuffed, and unless we can get there quickly, he could stay stuffed. Stella just shrugs. I don't care. I want my girls to get there alive. This magic road sounds treacherous, and if we're going to stay hidden from Crokey until the last moment, we're going to have to approach the castle in the dark, so we'll need to train. We'll use your map to recreate the magic road right here in the Tangled Forest. And there's another thing. What? I say. You lot are coming along that magic road with us. You've done it before, and you can help. Plus, why should we risk our lives getting to the crow's nest and fighting the scarecrows while you three sneak in the back door on the dragons? Rose, Win and I gather together. She's got a point, says Rose. I nod. And we should just have time. Crokey said that he stuffed Grandad yesterday, which means we've still got 2 days to get to him. It feels risky, says Rose, but what choice do we have? We need them to help us. I pull out the map. There's this rock here. I point at a large rock Win drew. It looks big and it's close to the castle. If we arrive there at dawn, Rose can whistle for the dragons, and they can pick us up and take us to the sea cave from there. That should work, says Win. Rose looks at Stella. We'll do it. Today Arthur and Win can learn to ride a dragon, and tomorrow we'll train. Then we'll cross the magic road together. Stella studies us for a moment, then nods and turns to her girls. Flora? Hannah? 2 girls step forward and puff out their chests. You're in charge of weapon sharpening. Shania? Hansini? You lead the other girls on a 5-mile jog. Groans break out among the girls, but Stella silences them with a look. And later this afternoon, I want to see you all doing hand-to-hand combat. And I'm not talking slaps. Those scarecrows are nasty and fast, and there are loads of them, so we're going to have to do actual punching and karate chops. Oh! Win practically jumps up and down. I can help with that. Stella narrows her eyes. No, you can't. She turns back to her girls. Then we'll build our very own magic road ready for training in the morning. Clear? Yes, Chief. The girls salute, then spread out across the camp. Stella leads us back into the forest. She explains that they have a dojo, a place where they practice wrestling, which she thinks will be perfect to land a dragon. This is where we'll build the magic road, she says, as we come out on a round, flat clearing. We blink into the sunshine. The dojo is high above Roar, and over the miles and miles of trees I can just see the glimmer of the bottomless ocean, and beyond that, the snowy mountains of the end. I turn in a circle and realise that we're probably at the very heart of the Tangled Forest. The crack that appeared on our birthday is here too. It's not quite big enough to fall down, but stepping over it is still unnerving. Hey Stella, says Rose, can I ask you something? Chief Stella. Right, Chief Stella, have you seen Mitch around? She's a mermaid witch, about my height, blue hair, magical tail. And a bad temper, says Stella. That's her. Stella shakes her head. I bumped into her down at the Archie Playgo about a year ago. We had a fight over some mushrooms. Her scowl suggests Mitch must have won. Rose nods and scuffs her foot. And you've not seen her since? No, but a lot of things have gone missing since you stopped visiting. Maybe she disappeared down the crack. To emphasise her point, Stella takes a rock and chucks it into the split in the ground. Or Mitch could be out in the Archie Playgo, I say quickly. Or maybe she went to the end. Rose doesn't say anything. She turns on her heel and walks to the far side. Then she puts her fingers to her lips and does a quick whistle, just like you'd used to call a dog. This is how Rose always used to summon the dragons, and as long as she was standing outside, it seemed to work every time. The four of us gaze at the empty sky and my stomach squirms as I think about my journey dangling from Pickle's claws. I'm wondering if Rose's whistle has worked when I see two specks on the horizon. The dragons shoot through the air, covering miles in seconds, beating a path straight towards us. Sweat prickles my skin and I take a couple of deep breaths. I nudge Win. You reckon we can do this? You and me? Learn how to fly a dragon? Ahead of us, Pickle snaps at his brother and Vlad retaliates with a nip at Pickle's tail. Suddenly they're tumbling through the sky and the air is torn apart by their screeches. Pickle clamps down on a wingtip and a jet of fire shoots from Vlad's jaws. Should be pretty easy, says Win, stepping back from the flames. Like riding a horse, I reckon. Or a unicorn. Have you ever ridden a horse or a unicorn? No, have you? He asks. I shake my head. Oh well, riding a dragon's probably more like riding a bike, and we've done that loads of times. Our dragon riding skills are going to be imaginary, Arthur. Next to me, Rose snorts.